Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and today in our first impressions video we're looking at this. The Miniart 1:35 scale German agricultural tractor D8500 mod 1938. I'm guessing that means model, not sure. Anyway, it's a 1938 steel wheel tractor and it looks gorgeous. Now, Miniart have a number of tractors and I've been umming and ahhing over them for a little while, but I really fancied this one because of the steel wheels. All those spokes and things look really cool, and it's just something so completely different to, well, anything I've done before. So let's have a look. So the box has a lovely glossy picture of this tractor. It looks well used, but at the same time it looks really beautiful, doesn't it? We've got a farm in the background. Yeah, lovely piece of artwork on the box. Kit number is 38024, and as I look around, on the ends we've got the same information that's on the front of the box. In fact, it's same on both ends. On the side we've got some information in Ukrainian, Russian and English, so I'm guessing they're their main markets. The health and safety information tells you it's over 14 because of the photo etch, and then we've got some information about the company and a little thing to scan. And then on this side we get some profile pictures of the completed model, obviously digital picture of. Yeah, and that is about it. And up in the top here, above where it says miniature series, it says unassembled plastic model kit. Box contains model of a tractor, decal sheet, and PE parts are included. This is not a toy. Cool, let's have a look. So in the box we have our instruction sheet and we have a single bag with parts in, but they're by no means tightly packed as they usually are. They're quite loose, so I'm not going to shake them because I don't want to damage anything. What I'll do is I'll open the bag up and take the parts out, and then we'll have a look at the instructions. So the instruction sheet is familiar if you're indeed familiar with Miniart kits. This is how they tend to present them. So we've got a nice A4 stapled full colour sort of satin finished instruction manual. At the top we've got some imagery of the completed model, again computer rendered, not of the actual kit, and we've got the general information again and the kit number again, and it says this is the general instructions, and just in case you're not really bought into the kit you've bought, they just reiterate what you've got included. And then we have a nice relief sort of technical drawing type affair going on there. And then as we open up, we have a bit of a change from the usual Miniart instructions. At this point you'd usually get some colour pictures of the paint options. So we have them on the back. It looks like we've just got the one option, that's why. So clearly that's how they came. We've got a little bit of information, sort of the caution information with the kit. Then we've got the build key, so all fairly obvious stuff. That's the one that you have to watch out for. The little star means scratch build, i.e. Find the parts yourself because they're not supplied in the kit. Then we have our sprue map. And it's telling us we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues. We've got a fret, a photo etch and a decal sheet, and then right at the bottom we've got our little colour call outs, and they are calling out Vallejo, Mr. Colour, AKRC, Mission Models, Aomig and Tamiya. So one way or another you're going to find either the paint system you use or a good cross-reference for the paint system you use. You've got 8 colours listed in all. The main body colour being this dark blue, although it doesn't look particularly dark on those pictures. So dark blue, which is XF17. I'm not sure I've got that. I'll have to look at my colour references. Anyway, I digress. Then we are at step 1, and we're starting with the main body, which appears to be in 4 sections. So we can see some little rollers or strengtheners or something going in there. So you've got the 4 parts going in, and then we've got what looks like the hubs for the big back wheels. I'm guessing that's the rear and that's the front. We've got some, that actually looks a bit like a radiator. I wonder if it is. We've got some small parts going on here at this stage as well. That's step 3. I always find it easier to divide these up into boxes with a pencil and a rule and just break it down a little bit. And in step 4 we have we've got that going on, but that sub-assembly needs to be done first. So that is that, and we have some photo etch there, and looking at the tightness of the curve and how tight that is, you'll be wanting to anneal that and then roll it with a probably with a drill bit or something small enough to get you a nice tight curve. And then we've got, that looks like the towing bar, so I think we might have flipped it upside down at this point. That looks like the towing bar being assembled and come together. All very nice. Step 5, we've got some form of control mechanism going in. We've got a spring there and some form of rod on a hinge. There's a top plate going on with some form of heavy nut. Then we're moving away from that assembly and building up what looks like the enclosed engine area. So you've got tanks with various filling lids, I'm guessing water, oil and some form of fuel, and then that is fitting on top of your main body structure. So that could just be the fuel tanks, not sure. That looks like a radiator on the side there though, doesn't it? And then we've got some form of pedal going in there. And those are photo etch parts, including the nameplate on the front. Step 9, we've got the footwell going in for the driver, and handbrake, gear stick. Then we're building up the seat there, which looks really nice actually, and that's going on a sprung rod. So be interested to see how good that spring looks. Then we've got the steering rack there. That'll be some form of timing chain cover, I guess. Appear to have something similar on the other side as well. Then there's some form of framework that helps with the rear mud guards. So we're on what, 10 steps. Step 12, we're building up the front wheel assembly. We've got the steering rods there and what have you. Yeah, okay. Doesn't seem to be a lot of photo etching, but then you've got this great big photo etch clip that you've got to make. And that is to support the exhaust system, which is quite chunky looking. And I'm guessing that's an air intake or something. I'm not 100% sure. Then we're building up a wheel. I think that's probably front wheel by the looks of it. It's not complex enough for the back. Step 14, make 2. That's the back wheel. That looks much more like it, doesn't it? what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts to make up each wheel. But they look, I mean, if they look anything like the drawing, they'll look absolutely the business when done. Steering wheel going on, wheels, another little bit of photo etch. There's our steering wheel being built up first. So the sub-assemblies come after the assembly instructions, so you do have to look ahead a little bit and just get your head around the instructions ever so slightly. And then wheels going on and some form of, I'm guessing it's an adjusting wheel or something that's going on there. Looks like options there, doesn't it? So closed and open maybe. It's telling you to cut that off. Right, so it's almost like the steering column has been taken out and put in the side. How weird. Yeah, option A, option B. And then we have the painting instructions. So it looks really nice with the blue body. It does look really nice. Right, let's take a look at some plastic. Okay, so let's start with sprue A. We have 2 of these, and they deal with these really nice looking back wheels. So what we get is 2 halves which come together to make sort of like the inner bit, and then we've got a back facing and front facing spoked wheel, and then that is the front wheel, which is 2 halves, and then we have this outer edge that goes over that, and they are so nicely done, very, very crisp, no flash. The detail level's lovely with the bolt heads, really, really nice. And we have decal on the inside, a little bit of a seam on the inside to remove, but nothing too heavy. And again, you can see there's a seam there, but you know, it's very light. We have bolt detail on both sides as well, so yeah, really lovely. And I don't see any issues with those parts. I also don't see any ejector pins either. So obviously on a slightly bigger sprue, because we can see where it's been cut off, but those parts are really nice. So we have 2 of those. Our next sprue is CA, and this has got the foot plate on for the driver, which has a diamond tread pattern on it, and then a different diamond tread pattern where the feet go just near the pedal. So we've got 2 different patterns going on. That's quite nice. We've got some fine parts there, and the exhaust system, which is a solid piece of plastic. Then there's that top plate which had all the heavy bolts on, and this is part of the front suspension system here and here, and then that's the tank top we saw. All looks really nice. It's very crisp. Don't see any issues with that at all. It's just really lovely, isn't it? It's just Miniart. We've got a little bit of seam clean up to do, but other than that, those parts are perfect. Now, sprue CB has the structure for building up the mud flaps, and then what I thought was a radiator, but it looks like it's some form of blanking plate that goes in the middle there. But just look at the detail on that. Isn't that nice? You've got all the little bolts on. You've got really nicely depicted twist, and you can see the 2 separate pieces of steel that have been twisted together. You know, they've separated them. That looks so good. Yeah, really like that. There's no flash or anything. Sometimes Miniart can be a little bit flash heavy, but These aren't at all. Very nice. Just flipping it over. Yeah, we've got more bolt detail. It's just lovely. Detail on both sides, and again, absolutely no ejector pin marks because they're all on the sprue. Really, really nice. So the next sprue is sprue CE, and they've actually cut this in half to get it in the box. So it's in two sections, but it is one sprue, and in the instructions we saw it as one sprue. So I'll deal with this half first. And we've got all the lots of little small details on here, and then we've got the big side panels with what looks like a radiator on, and the texturing is absolutely exquisite, so finely done. And then we've got like a Louvre vent system on both sides, which is again really nicely done. And look how crisp that little handbrake system is. So lovely. We've got the gear stick there. Not sure what all of these are. That's the spring. Those are the hubs that we saw for the back wheel there. It's just very, very nice. Lovely. I mean, this is, you'll just nip these off, clean them up, stick them together, job done. Really, really nice. Again, no ejector pins, no sync, no flash. I can barely see any seams on these parts. It's just plug and play. On the second part of the sprue, we've got some of the bigger parts. So the smaller parts are the steering wheels and the toe coupling. I'm not quite sure what they are. And then we've got this cover, some form of belt cover or something like that. And that's the main body, the four parts that make up the main body in step one. And again, loads and loads of detail on that surface, bolts and plates and bits and pieces. Really nice. Really nicely done. And our last plastic sprue is EB, and that has the other cover on it. It's quite a hefty piece of plastic, that actually. We have the opening for the exhaust top. We have what I think is some form of air inlet. Again, another solid piece of plastic. Another side piece. Some of the smaller things, the little screw tops for the various openings. Now that's the spring there for the seat, and I was hoping they'd have done a spring a bit like in their V107 Mercedes, which are really lovely springs. But you know, we might think about sanding that off and making our own spring just to improve that part. The bucket. The little seat there is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah, it's just really nice. There's a little bit of flash on the seat. That's the first proper flash we've seen. That is really nice. Right, next our little Miniart envelope, and we know that means photo etch. There isn't much etch on this kit at all, so what have we got? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces of etch in total. The most complex one being this long strip that we saw being bent into shape to go around the exhaust. And then we've got the little front nameplate, and those were the bits that we saw with a little curl. So yeah, that'll need annealing at the start. But yeah, that's it for photo etch. And finally, we have our decals. So the decals seem to be like chassis number plaques and engine plaques and bits and pieces like that. They could be dials. Those little black spots could be dials. I'm not sure. Don't think I saw any dials really. I didn't actually see where the decals go on. We'll have a look at that. Let's have a look. I'm not quite sure what it is, but this is the decal placing. These yellow circles are the decals, and 6, which I thought looked like a dial, is going right down there just behind the pedal. So quite what that is, I don't know. But we seem to have 6 decals in total, well 7 because there's 2 marked against number 1, which is that, which I'm guessing is a maximum speed. And then we've got 3 decals here, which I think are spares for number 4, number 2 and number 6. Or number 5 and number 6 maybe. But yeah, they're all information decals that go in various different places. So yeah, very, very nice. The decals themselves, well, they're typical Miniart decals. They're not too thick, they're not too thin. There's hardly any carrier film visible on any of these. So there you have it, the Miniart 1:35 scale German agricultural tractor, D8500 model 1938. What do I think? What are my first impressions? I think it's an absolutely stunning little kit. Parts just don't get any better than that. Everything is crisply moulded. The cleanup is minimal. It's a little bit of seam, a little bit of flash on 1, maybe 2 parts. There is no filling that I can see to do it. Of course, we don't know if we're going to have any fit issues. The only scratch building I saw was these pipes here, which need to be added in by yourself, but otherwise everything else is in the kit. The subject matter is really cool, and I think this is just a lovely little weekend project. Yeah. Really took a fancy to this, and actually can't wait to get stuck into it. So there you have it. If you're interested in one of the Miniart tractors, you've got a good idea of what you're going to get in the box. I think this is a lovely kit and really fascinating with the steel wheels. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Take care everyone, enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon.